Welcome. My name is Paxton Dickerson. I am a registered addiction specialist and a certified chemical dependency counselor. I am here today to talk to you about the 14 voices of your disease. Your disease has been called many things. I've heard it called your inner con, your slick, the back of your head, your committee. If you are an alcoholic or an addict, you are familiar with the disease concept, and it does have a voice. And the voice goes straight to your ear. Has an inside man, and that's you. It will get you to either use or drink, or the other goal of your disease is to put you in a position to use or drink. It is cunning, baffling, and powerful. You may be familiar with that, those three words. I'll break them down for you. Cunning, like a fox, sly, slick, not forthcoming. Your disease will speak to you in a way that you can understand it. It'll use your own feelings against you. It is familiar where you're guilty or angry or the things that bother you or make you uncomfortable, and it'll use those. So you have to be very wary. It's very, very cunning. Baffling. You've heard people say, get out of your head and into your heart. It is the longest 8 inches between your head and your heart. Your heart will guide you with your feelings and your gut. Your head will try to make sense of things. And this disease will not make sense. If it made sense the very first time you knew you shouldn't drink or use, you wouldn't have. You might not even need to listen to this whole lecture, because if it made sense, you would just stop. But this disease does not make sense. It is very baffling. And sooner or later, it'll do something to you and get you to do something that is totally the opposite of what you would want to do or you would desire to do. And powerful. Right now, you may be, as you're watching this, eating a cookie or some popcorn, and it is your cookie. You bought it, you decided to eat it, you put it in your mouth, and it's your mouth and your body. You will chew it, and eventually you'll swallow it. Now, that's what you have control over. As soon as you swallow it, it will go into your stomach, and it is out of your control. You are powerless over whether your body digests it or not, or converts it into sugar or whatever the many functions of your body does, and you are now powerless. That is a very good analogy for drugs and alcohol. Once it's in your system, your body will take over. So, cunning, baffling, and powerful. That is the disease, and these are my 14 favorite ways your disease will talk to you. Okay, so the first voice of your disease is the inner pusher. It'll say you need to relax. You know, I remember watching TV, and the man of the house, he comes home after a hard day's work, he whips off his jacket, and he doesn't say, honey, I'm gonna get drunk so I can sleep tonight. He'll say, honey, I'm gonna make a nightcap. Now, that's just a slick way, a cunning way of saying you're gonna get drunk to go to sleep. So the inner pusher will say, I need to relax. It'll say you deserve it. You've had a long, hard week. You know, there's a guy when I came to treatment who was ahead of me. And he was going to meetings, he had a sponsor and a sponsee, he was working full-time, graveyard shift, and he went to his counselor and he said he wanted to go back to school. They suggested he take one class just to feel it out. Easy does it. He didn't listen. He was playing catch-up. So he took on a full class load, and he didn't have time for himself. He ended up using that hungry, angry, lonely, or tired definitely applied to him. And unfortunately, he ended up using. I've gone so long without it. You'd be amazed, and you're going to laugh, but you'd be amazed how many people celebrate 30, 60, or 90 days or more with drinking or using. The inner pusher will work on you. It'll work on you and tell you, under the guise of doing the right thing, put yourself in harm's way. This is my favorite voice. It is the victim. It's not fair. Your disease will whisper to you. It's not fair. I can't party anymore. Why can't I use like everyone else? It's when the magnet in your hand meets the one in your forehead, and oh, you start pitying yourself. Now, it fails to tell you that you never use like everyone else. I mean, for most of us, whatever magical quota there is for using or drinking, we well exceeded it. I mean, doctors tell us, oh my goodness, I can't believe you used that much and haven't died yet. And yet, we'll tell ourselves the lie that we're never going to be able to use like everyone else. We're never going to be able to drink anymore, and everyone drinks, and I'm never going to be any fun. Now, it's an amazing thing when your disease tells you that when you're using, you're not missing out, and when you're in recovery, you are. That is slick. That is your inner con. That is your disease talking to you. Bob Marley can smoke pot and talk about one love and dance around and make albums, okay? That's on Bob. I'm not Bob. My mom, last night, she had a glass of wine and a little blanket over her legs, and she was watching some TV show and eating some liverwurst with crackers, and she left half the wine in the glass and went to sleep. That's not me. I don't even use wine glasses. I use the bottle. So the victim, it's a lie. Slick is lying to you. Your inner con is lying to you. It's not fair. Well, life isn't fair, but it's time for us to stop using and drinking. This voice is a helpless sucker. The third voice says, I am powerless over my using. Addiction is stronger than me. Now, it has a little bit of truth in this lie because your addiction is stronger than you. But it'll tell you there's nothing you can do about it. It's literally the first step of the 12 steps minus the 11 solutions. I'm powerless over using. I'm powerless over drinking. Once a drunk, always a drunk. Once a wino, always a wino. Once a junkie, always a junkie. So why even try fighting against a craving? Why even try using any of the tools that are taught to you? You're a helpless sucker. You're going to end up using. That's your disease. Number 4 is the magic pill. Drugs and alcohol in themselves are the magic pill. The voice will say, I must get rid of these uncomfortable feelings no matter what the cost. No matter what the cost, no matter who is hurt, including myself, I have to feel comfortable. Normal human beings have a wide range of emotions. Happy, mad, sad, glad. But the magic pill will say you always need to be comfortable. That does not sound like reality to me. I have to get rid of these feelings through using and drinking. I defend this comfort zone. When I was 18 years old, my father died. A normal response to your loved one dying is to be sad, to grieve, to mourn. That's what everyone else did in my family. Not me. I went out drinking and I went out using, trying to feel comfortable. So when everyone else was okay with it later on, they had gotten to acceptance, not me. 26 years old and I have daddy issues. The magic pill will get you to use and drink over these emotions that will change. They will pass. That's what we've been taught. If you're happy right now, that will change. If you're mad right now, don't worry, that will change. The greatest trick the disease ever played is by convincing you that it doesn't exist. And just like that, it's gone. Number 5 is the invisible disease. What disease? My disease doesn't have a voice. It's just my thoughts. If an alcoholic and an addict does not realize that your addiction speaks in your mind and a part of your head actually wants you to use, then you won't ever fight it. Why rat yourself out in meetings? Why talk to your sponsor about your cravings? It's just your own thoughts. And if you want to use, then you just want to use. You have to realize that your disease is speaking to you. It is the most simple voice, but also one of the strongest. They don't understand me. If only you knew how I feel. The alcoholic and addict, sooner or later in their using, will be at odds against everybody in their life. The boss doesn't understand, friends don't understand, my family doesn't understand. I will feel hurt and betrayed because they will not follow me down this road of using and drinking. And hurt and betrayed is a sixth voice. It's the one that says I should go to Italy and everyone else is going to learn English instead of me learning Italian. Why should I be this mystical thing that needs to be understood? Like the St. Francis prayer says, I should understand rather than be understood. If I'm doing these unhealthy behaviors, I think it's best that they not understand me. Why should they? So my favorite episode of The Simpsons, I love it. Homer, who's an alcoholic, wakes up in the morning. His wife, Marge, is staring at him, pissed. She says, Homer, you don't remember what you did last night? Homer goes, last night? And they do the little memory bubbles. In Homer's memory of last night, it's black and white. They had a party and all their friends came over for dinner. He's dressed up like the Monopoly guy on the front of the board with a tuxedo and the tails and a top hat, and he's very debonair. And he dances and he jokes. He flirts with the neighbor's wife and she goes, and he jumps and he does his little magic tricks and everyone's like, bravo, Homer, bravo. He's so very charismatic. Now, Marge's memory of last night. Her memory is full color, technicolor, okay? And Homer is drunk, very drunk. He's drinking throughout the night. He flirts with the neighbor's wife, offends both of them, they leave. Okay? He puts a lampshade on his head and makes a butt of himself in front of the kids and all their friends. He jumps on top of the table, still drinking, all right? He blacks out, he falls down, he passes out, he throws up. The introvert is the seventh voice. It says, I'll be sexier, I'll be more productive, I'll be more creative, I'll be funnier, I'll be more exciting if I'm drunk or using. I've had alcoholics and addicts tell me that no one at their job knew they were drinking and using. I beg to differ. Now, maybe they didn't care enough to let them know, but they knew something was wrong just because they didn't know exactly what was wrong. If someone thinks that you are sexier, drunk, or high, chances are they drink and use too. The introvert says you need to use and drink just to be you. What better lie is there? The disease will convince you that without drinking and using, you're not the real you and you have no personality. The rotten child is one of the most difficult voices, but also one of the most common. The rotten child says that if anything bad has ever happened to you when you were 4, 13, your late 20s, or maybe even just yesterday, that you have to relive that every single day and use about it. The rotten child says that you have to scrap your life because of something that happened to you before. I meditate. You give me 15 minutes and I'll go into a room and I can meditate on every bad thing that has ever happened to me. Every tragedy, every accident, every betrayal. I can even use my imagination for some negative stuff in the future. I will come out of that room so very rocked and so very unhealthy in my head. Now you give me another 15 minutes, I'll go into the same room and I'll meditate on every good thing that has ever happened to me. Every achievement, all my loved ones, every good feeling. I can even use my imagination about some good stuff in the future. I will come out of that room like those good things just happened. Now, which one do you think I do every morning and every night? The rotten child will say, since something bad happened to you, you can never move forward, you can never move beyond it. Number 9, the impulsive kid. Now, now, now. Your disease's voice will tell you to be impulsive in all your actions and thoughts and behaviors. Don't ever pray before action. Don't ever include any kind of reality testing. Just do things now, now, now. If you feel like using, go use. If you feel like talking to her, talk to her.